I had to learn how to integrate my shadow with my light. And so, in order to do that, I had to become formless. And what I mean by formless is I had to identify what my lower shadows were, how I was, what I was operating under, what was I doing, right? And so for me, I was pushed into letting go of all of that because I was broken through betrayal. It wasn't that I was like, oh my God, I'm going to heal. I want to heal. I want to change. No, this is not what happened at all. I was very happy on Tinder. I was very happy smoking my weed. I was very happy drinking my white claws. I was happy with that. It didn't bother me. I enjoy my vape. I didn't really think it was such a big deal, because everybody smokes. It wasn't something that I was like, oh my God, I'm going to heal. What happened was that because of the betrayals that were happening around me, I was forced into an awakening by the Most High God. And what happened there was that the people that I loved the most were used to basically stab me in such a way that I had to choose whether I wanted to live or not. And because the reality that was in front of me, the truth that was in front of me was so much to bear, I had no option. Well, I did have an option. I could choose to keep living in an illusion and keep putting things into my vessel and not addressing what was happening within me, like because the main character there of my story is me, right? So I had to choose if I wanted to keep playing that role or if I wanted to take a different approach to it, right? So for me it was so much betrayal, wounds that I didn't heal from the past that were still there, hence why people were still coming in that were betraying me, right? And so when I had those two things in front of me, where I had wounds from the past still rising to the surface. The reason why people would come into my reality and they would betray me, right? And then I realized that these people that were coming into my reality were coming in because I myself was betraying. So then I realized that I was the main issue here, that I kept betraying myself, hence why people kept betraying me. So do you want to keep playing that role or do you want to go heal, right? And so at that moment I chose to heal, right? And then I chose to see things for what they were, and the reality presented in front of me of all the things and the evilness that was surrounding me. I didn't want to take that in, um putting things into my body like consuming alcohol or consuming weed or consuming any of that. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it like that because I wanted to be sure of what I was doing. I needed clarity because I needed to see things for what they were. I didn't want to put things inside my body to heighten my perception, right? So, and then I chose to basically, it wasn't my intention to like heal to the point of like, oh my God, I don't need to smoke anymore. I didn't even think that was possible. I never imagined my life without me having something in my hand. Like I was used to having a babe, I was used to having a blunt, I was used to having something in my hand that would help me. And I was used to having some form of distraction, someone that I could go lay down with if I needed to or wanted to, someone that I could even call to talk. And even if I knew they weren't genuine, even if it was just a friend or something, or a family member, I thought I needed all of those things. And in reality, what I needed was to heal. What I needed was to overcome my insecurities. What I needed was to see things for what they truly were, see people for who they were, and understand that my sense of value, my sense of worth, my existence did not need to be validated. And this wasn't about perfection, right? Because I speak about betrayals and hurts and these secret societies and this family that was part of a secret society where they sacrificed the light, which was one of the things that was happening to me. I was groomed to be a sacrifice. And so when the spell work that was being done on me wasn't working fast enough, because one of the reasons why I was engaging in those lower realms and things like that was because I was being worked on through dark magic as well. Yes, I use my free will to engage in certain things, but on the other side of that, because I don't want to just put all the blame into like, oh no, but they were doing spell work on me and they were doing work. No, you know, because right now, at this moment, they're doing spell work on me. I just ascended to such a level that it can't touch me anymore, because that can only work if you're operating through the vibration of what that is, which is lower frequency, right? So there goes our free will, right? So I had to choose, use my free will to choose how I wanted to navigate that. Well, the one thing that really did help me though was that God said to me that he will let me know anything that's happening before it happens, as it's happening, or basically that I would be protected from it all, that I had nothing to fear, and that what I needed to do was heal and forgive. I had to work a lot of forgiveness, a lot of forgiveness, because a lot of the things that were, well, everything that was done to me as a child was orchestrated, because these societies, what they do is they have to create an access point for them to be able to attach whatever attacks they send to you. So when they're doing their spell work or their whatever it is that they do, you need to be operating at a lower vibration. And the form of energy harvesting is molestation. So they had to do that so that they could, one, break my psyche when I was little, and make it difficult for me to be able to come to the understanding that this is what's happening. And so with that, we're going to go back to the point of choosing to heal, to overcome those lower, those that lower realm. You know, there's the higher self, there's the lower self. So I was operating at the lower self, and what got me out of operating of the lower self was me choosing to heal, was me choosing to ascend, was me choosing to listen to my spirit team, to the most high God, and choose to follow instructions. And I ended up overcoming it all to the point that I ascended to a level that none of that dark work can reach me. I was delivered from the addictions. I was delivered from the lust. I was delivered from any of those toxic habits. And by doing that, not only was I delivered from it, I learned how to master my energy, how to master myself, how to master my emotions, how to operate at a frequency of ascension. And this is something that we can all do. And what also I saw was, what I learned was that the enemy wants to keep us stuck in those lower realms of, you know, my mother did this, my father did this, my family did this, my husband left me. He wants to keep us there. But we can choose to ascend from that when we decide to become formless. And that's what I was talking about at the beginning, and I went off ramp. Then we're gonna go to the next part.